What's going on, my friends? This is Dave Sharpe. I think I just spit on my microphone. Saw something kind of large come flying out of my mouth here just now and looked down. I don't actually see it on my microphone, so maybe it's sitting somewhere on my desk. Anyways, I'll eat that later. Welcome to Wake Up Legendary, my friends. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. We have an awesome guest. I want to jump right into it so she can tell us her story as I finish cleaning out my teeth over here. So, Yajahira, what's going on? Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Now, you're also a vet, is that right?
I am.
Hey, thanks for your service.
It was my pleasure. I didn't really want to quit.
Aw, what branch?
Time came.
What branch were you in?
Army.
Wow, that's cool. Awesome.
I thoroughly enjoyed my career. If I could have continued, I would have.
Nice. That's great. Well, let's talk about your hair is kind of blowing. You look like you got a little bit of a movie star effect there. I love it. You're in Florida also, is that right?
Actually, I was just telling Matt that I recently moved to Dominican Republic to live.
What? Hey.
Yes.
Okay, good for you. Was that a move because you have family there? Are you from there? Was that just a dream, something that you wanted to do?
Actually, I had moved here back in 2011 to go to medical school. And like anything else, at first I hated it. And then as time went by, I fell in love with the place. So I said, eventually I'm going to move back here once I retire from the military. And I did.
Nice. Well, good for you. You sound like the kind of person who kind of gets something in your mind, goes for it, and figures out a way to make it happen.
Absolutely. You always have to have a plan A, plan B, plan C, and so on.
All right. So how did you find Legendary Marketer, and what sort of got you started in online marketing? Because you've done some other things before, Yajahira. You've done drop shipping. You said you had a terrible experience with that. What kept you going, kept you looking for something to build a business with online? And then how eventually did you find us?
Well, I've always wanted to have my own business. I wanted something I can do from home. I wanted something I can do online. I'm very much what I describe myself as a techie. I love technology. I want to use it for my benefit. So I've always said I'm going to have a business that involves all those things that I enjoy. And so I've always continued to, search for things. And then last year, through a friend of my husband's, he introduced me to Legendary along with some other stuff. And he's like, Yadi, you got to do this. You're going to knock it out the park. It's only 15 days. You got to try it out. And I kept telling him, no. About 3 or 4 months passed by. I said, screw it. Let me go ahead and do it. Because I was in medical school at the time and I felt like I didn't have time to do it. But then he's like, no, it's do it at your own pace. And that's how I did it. And I really enjoyed it. And it gave me an opportunity to kind of compare and contrast other programs with yours. And the thing that I really liked about Legendary is that it's straight and to the point, and it's not something that's dragged out. Right? So I'm that kind of person. Just give me the facts. That's all I need, and I can move forward. And it's been history since then.
Nice. So I'm glad to hear that feedback, because I can also be a little bit long-winded sometimes, so people can maybe feel like I'm not getting to the point. But I promise you, folks who think that I'm long-winded, I'm saying what I'm saying for a reason. So hang in there with me, and eventually I'll bring the airplane in for a landing. Okay. So if you're brand new and you're kind of like, this guy is being long-winded, I promise you, I'm not wasting your time. I'm saying what I'm saying because I'm going to tie it back in together and make it make sense for you. Some things, and I think you would agree with this, and you understand this. You're a smart person. Some things can't be explained in 2 seconds, and it's difficult enough for us to explain an entire business model in 15 days, and we don't explain an entire business model in 15 days. But in the challenge, we try to give someone enough meat and potatoes to understand some of the mechanics, but also to get an idea of what is possible. And so you obviously saw that, you caught that bug of what's possible. And so when did you first come in contact with Legendary, and what sort of bug or vision did you catch? What is the vision that you have for your business? Can you sort of explain and lay it out for us?
Yes, so I signed up with Legendary around my birthday in November of last year,
What day is your birthday in November?
25th.
Okay, I'm the
Yes,
17th.
it was around Thanksgiving time frame when I signed up with Legendary, and as I did the first day and the second day, I'm like, okay, I'm ready for day three, and I'm like, oh, shoot, I'm stuck. I got to meet with my BPA. And as soon as he came on, he was like, okay, I'm gonna unlock these days, and I went through those days. So it was just uh, the information was enticing enough that I wanted more. I wanted to finish it. I wanted to get to it. I wanted to get straight to work. And then when day five came, when they were offering the blueprints, I was like, dang it! Now I got to talk to my husband about this. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, maybe I can swing it. I'm looking for ways to pay for it myself, so I don't have to say nothing. Uh, but eventually, I had the conversation. He's like, "Are you sure?" I said, "Yep, I could do it." And it happened. I had prayed on it. I said, Lord, if this is for me, yeah, I know you're gonna make it happen. How about that same night? Went to bed after I prayed. Next morning, bam, I had money. I said, cool. This is where it's gonna go. Bought the blueprints, and I still, to this day, refer back to the blueprints every time I get stuck on something. It's been a great experience, and part of my journey was getting help because when after you have all of that information, and I think a lot of us will be able to relate to this. You struggle with where to begin and how to tie it all together. And I got help for that, and it really put things into perspective, along with it helped me look at the blueprints from a different perspective once I started getting help. And I think people need to understand, and I really want to drive this home, is you have to get the help that you need and the education you need. And part of that is making peace with your pocket. You're
What do
gonna
you mean
have
by
to.
that?
Okay, so we spend, like you say in your training, we spend all this money on education to go to university. Great. But you have your heart set on, you want your own business, and you want to do affiliate, you want to do this, you want to do that, but you're not willing to spend the money for it. You got to make peace with your pocket. Spend the money, the necessary money, to learn everything you need to learn so that you can be successful. Because if you try to go it by yourself, you're going to end up spending a lot of time, money, and aggravation. Whereas had you gotten the help ahead of time, you might have skipped all of that and shortened your learning curve. I'd rather follow the footsteps of somebody that already went through it and has been successful, as opposed to trying to reinvent the wheel myself.
Yeah. Well, making peace with your pocket is an interesting way to frame, I guess what you mean is investing in yourself. Um,
Absolutely.
and I guess what I'm guessing what you mean is to believe that you're worth it, and to believe that making an investment in education is a worthy investment of your money. Like, it's a good place to spend your money. Is that what you mean? I mean, because I've
Absolutely.
never heard it put like that, making peace with your pocket. And I think myself and others are really kind of, I don't know, that's just a really interesting and creative way to put it. I'd just like you to say more about that.
Oh, I look at it this way, right? A lot of us are probably married, and we have to talk to our spouse about big money decisions, right? Some of us may not be married, and we have to have a conversation with our bank account. Be like, hey, can I afford this? Can I not afford this? Um, what am I willing to do to afford this? What are the cutbacks that I'm willing to make so that I can make this happen for myself? Because if you really, really, really want to set yourself apart, and if you really, really want to make this work, you got to spend money. That's the short version of that conversation. You got to spend money. Um, because when we want to become an engineer, become a doctor, we spend all the money in the world to do that, right? And then you're stuck with a 9 to 5 job that you really don't care for, only for pennies on the dollar. Whereas if you spend money on yourself and learn about the business that you want to go into, you might be able to just trade a little bit of time for more money.
Yeah. And I want to say this because I see some people who are like, well, where did you get help and this and that? And it's like, well, what she's saying right now, if you're listening, is that she came into our program, went through the challenge, took us up on our offer, and
Right.
referred back to the blueprints. And I mean, surely we all learn we can learn in lots of different places. We can learn from other marketers. But what she's saying, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is she made an initial investment in education and actually went through the education and even refers back to the education and gets and when you run into roadblock, you actually refer back to the education that you bought. Let me tell
Every
all of
time.
you guys. Let me tell all you guys who are feel like you're lost or something. Here's my experience with 10 years of working online, selling information courses and programs, and of course being a client and student of other people's programs. But as a course creator and somebody who sells my information, I've seen the back end of people going through and actually taking the education that they bought. And the majority of people who buy something don't even use it. That's the facts.
That is so true.
The majority of people, and likely you guys who are asking questions like, well, where did you get help? It's like you're not hearing what she's saying. You're not likely. You have a pattern of getting excited about something. You buy it, that wears off, and the follow through lacks, right? Because there's an element of a dopamine rush and an adrenaline rush of buying something, and then this magical kind of grass is green on the other side. I'm going to have an instant fix. And then when it comes time to go through and read the book that you just bought, or use the gym membership that you just bought, or go through the course, and if you have a problem or you run into a challenge, I was going to share my screen here real quick and show you guys one of the most underutilized. We have people who are posting in our Facebook groups all the time. Well, I got this question. I got that question. I saw a lady come into our Facebook group, our Blueprints Facebook group the other day, and post something like 5 different questions in one day. Well, if you go to the products up here and you click on, Blueprints, register for live training. I'm just giving you guys a behind the scenes peek. If you aren't a Blueprints member, what's available. And if you are a Blueprints member, you may not even be utilizing this yourself. But every single Thursday at 3 p.m., we do a live coaching session to where primarily our chief marketing officer, Matt Hetzel, who's a genius marketer and a phenomenal trainer, gets on live, not some hired trainer from some sitting in some cubicle somewhere, some outsourced company. No, the people, Matt and I do the majority of the training here in this company. And we also post the replays. There's 115 replays from these various training sessions. So if you have a particular need, like say you want something with email, you could hit Command F on a Mac keyboard and type in here email, and you've got 3 trainings teed up right here that are already done that likely you could go in. And this is on top of the blueprints. This is on top of the blueprints, because the affiliate marketing business blueprint, that's all right here, right? That's all of this, which is step by step and was recently updated, and that update was given for free to anybody who already owned the blueprints. But I just wanted to point out that live training piece is something that's so underutilized. And it's just, I think, a matter of human nature, which I've seen over the last 10 years, Yajahira, which is some people buy things and then they just don't.
And they just quit. Yeah.
Use them.
See, and I at first struggled with leads and stuff, and I have purchased a Traffic University, and I still use Traffic University to this day. When I get confused on something, or if I forget a concept, I just go back and review it. And when I want to, like, I started with Facebook first. I'm starting my with Instagram now. So I'm starting to learn Instagram now. You just, if you buy it, use it. It's
Yeah.
there. You
Yeah.
already purchased it.
Yeah. I mean, we do a decade in a day training that if you wanted to, attend that decade in a day, which by the way, for those of you who don't know what the decade in a day is, when somebody buys our blueprints, every other Friday, we do a all day training, an all day live training for all new Blueprints members. But if you guys wanted to, who are Blueprints customers, come back and attend that decade in a day, you could do it over and over again. There's an actual link. Just go inside your business blueprint. Go inside. Let me share my screen again, just for those of you who don't know where that's at. You go right here to your course, okay, your business blueprints, affiliate marketing. Go to the affiliate marketing business blueprint, and then you go right here in section number 1, how the affiliate marketing business blueprint works, right? And you click on the decade in a day workshop, right? And down here in the resources section, you can click that button and there'll be a link to go and register for that decade in a day training. You can take that as many times as you want. And of course, on that particular training, you can ask questions. It's a live interactive training that both Matt and I deliver. My point here is this. You are somebody who has brought up this idea of investing in yourself, but also there's an element of, I think it's a self-worth thing, and it's a believing that you're worth following through, and then actually learning how to ask questions and feeling good enough and feeling important enough and feeling worthy enough that once you buy something, to actually come to a training, raise your hand and ask a question and say, I need help with this. What is your opinion with that as well? And what would you tell people who maybe are a little bit shy or a little bit apprehensive to kind of ask for the help? Maybe they don't know how to ask the question to get the feedback. Do you know what I'm saying?
I do, and I see that in the group a lot, is people asking the same question but not being very clear on what it is exactly that they need. So they don't know. They know they need the help. They don't know where they need the help. And part of that is they're afraid of probably two things. I think it's a double-edged sword. You're either afraid that someone's going to hit you up in your inbox talking about, hey, I can show you if you pay me, or they're afraid to sound stupid. And there isn't a stupid question. You just got to know what you're asking and what's the answer you're looking for. And when you're doing that, you just got to think about, what is it that I am struggling with, and ask that question, not ask the general question that's going to get everybody guessing. You have all these questions in the feed talking about, well, I need specifics and I need to know what you're trying to say, and know what you need and ask that question.
Yeah, I think you're so right about that. I'd like to share something else with everybody on the call today, because I would like, and I think everybody would say yes to this question. How would you like to be able to get anything that you want in life, right? That's the ultimate big question. What if you could get anything that you want in life? And if obviously anybody would say yes to that, I would too. What I've realized is the way to get anything that I want in life is by asking better questions. A lot of times, Yajahira, I don't get what I want. I don't get my needs met simply because I just don't ask, or I don't know how to ask. So maybe I lash out, maybe I get angry, maybe I get passive aggressive. I mean, this applies in so many marriages, in my marriage as well. I have needs. We all have needs in our marriage. And I'm not just talking about those kind of needs. Get all your heads out of the gutter. I'm talking about needs for affection, validation, needs to, if you're words of affirmation, love language, you would feel loved if your spouse gave you more compliments and affirmations. Or if you're a physical touch person, you would feel loved if they held you more or pursued you more physically, right? Or if you're a gifts person, maybe you would feel loved more if they gave you more gifts. Anyways, my wife is an acts of service person. So I am an words of affirmations person. So we have to communicate, hey, I would feel more loved if when I told you about the, I shared my work stuff with you, you could try to figure out ways to give me some verbal affirmation. And for her, she said, well, Dave, I'll feel more loved if you just take out the garbage. You know what I mean? If you do some acts of service around the house. And I'm like, well, son of a bitch, can I outsource that? And she's like, she's like, no, you can't. You know what I mean? So anyways, this formula here, I'll just share very quickly, and you guys can take a screenshot of this or whatever as I'm going through it. And first, you want to get clear on what your question is. And this would apply if you're asking a Facebook group. This would apply if you have a coach, a therapist, or if you're coming onto a live coaching webinar. You want to get clear on what your question is. Simplify it, clarify it, simplify it, clarify it. And here's, Yajahira, here's a big one. Briefly explain what you've tried already. I see so many people who ask a question, but they've not taken any initiative to try it on their own. You obviously can see how important that is, right?
Right. And it does help. It helps everybody else that's trying to help you get you better help, because if they already know what you tried, okay, you can take that off the list. Let's move on to the next one.
Yes. Then you want to outline what you think the solution might be, so to lessen the workload for whoever might answer the question. I see a lot of people who say, well, I want to be a entrepreneur. Okay. I want to be a CEO. I want to be a boss, right? I want to run my own business. I want everybody else to do all the work for me, even when it comes to asking questions. And that's just not how a boss acts. Like, I don't know. This is not a college class. I'm not a professor. I don't know how to bullshit and sugarcoat this. I'm just going to say that ain't how a boss acts. All right. A boss don't ask a question before he's already tried some shit on his own or on her own. Okay. You got to get out there and get a little dirt under your fingernails first, and then come to your place of mentorship, coaching, guidance, whatever, and say, look, I went out here, I tried this, I ran into a brick wall, my head's hurt, I got a little bump and scratch, but I just wonder if anybody has any ideas of how to get around or over or through this wall, right?
Right.
And then I'm going to say, son of a bitch, that person's a badass. He's got a big old bump on his head. I got respect for him. I want to help him, right? More so than the person who comes and says, well, I'd like you to tell me how to do this. No, I haven't put any effort into taking any risk, to trying it all, to doing anything, but I want you to kind of do the thinking for me. I'm still going to help you, but I'm going to be less motivated to, right? Because now you're making me do all the work, right? Now, the next step is obviously ask for feedback. Let people know you're open for feedback. A lot of times we'll lay out these pieces, but then we won't say, I'm open for feedback. Like, I need you guys' help. Can you please help me with this specific thing, right? And the other tip that I would give you guys is ask one question at a time. Don't ask 1,000 questions. Ask one question at a time, because you'll have more of a chance to get a specific answer to a specific question. Congrats. Asking for feedback is a strength, not a weakness. And if somebody has time to help, they may not. Don't take it personally. Just ask again. Maybe ask in a different way. Make sure to put it into action, and then update whoever helped you on how their advice worked. Thank them, but most importantly, take responsibility for the outcome, no matter how it worked out. Yajahira, tell me what comes up for you and what maybe you would add to this this little format of how to get what you want.
Patience. And I had a little reminder of that myself this morning. Nothing is going to happen overnight. Nothing is going to happen in the next few months, right? Everybody's going to have different results, but you have to be patient, persistent, and focus on persevering, because this is something that you're working for the long haul, not the short term.
Yeah. Well, and you're a military vet. You've done how did that experience help you in this new chapter of your life?
Organization, planning, And we have this saying in the military, right? Drive on. You just drive on. You mess up on something, fine, fix it, drive on. You
Mm,
succeed, great, celebrate it, drive on. So you just have to keep on moving forward. The point is to always have forward movement.
mm. Yeah, it's really such an important way of thinking and way of living and way of doing business, of course, or building a business. And of course, in your case, at least in the military, um, of staying alive, right? I mean, if you're in a
Right.
war zone, and you can't stay still, right? I would
Never,
assume.
never. And that's where that saying comes from. Is, hey, drive on,
Yeah,
keep moving, and don't stop.
yeah.
Because you don't want to take a step backwards, not even to get impulse. You just want to keep moving forward, no matter how slow the pace.
I I I love it, and I think if those of us looked at our business like it was life or death, you know what I mean? Like there's, you know, we're because in a sense you could either look at this like war or sport, however one chooses, or something else. I tend to like to look at it like sport most of the time.
Hmm.
War whenever I feel like, I actually like when people take shots at me and us and stuff like that, because I get a little bit militant in my strategy and stuff. But it's always fun for me, right? I always keep it sporty. But I look at this whole game like a sport, like a game, because it's I never want to take myself too seriously, or others won't. I never want to. I never want to let this get me to the point to where I'm so stressed out it steals my serenity and my happiness. You
Right.
know, it's that's not worth it, right? That wouldn't
No,
be
it
worth
defeats the purpose.
it. It totally defeats the purpose. I'm doing this for an element of happiness, not just for money. Would you agree with that?
I would, and I would add that since I started this, right, I've branched out into other things, but it has given me so much more time at home with my kids because when I started medical school, I missed out on so many parts of my kids' life. And now that I'm focusing full time on this, I have all this time, and my son has recently come to me, he's like, "Mom, I want to do what you do. Show me how to do what you do." I said, "Baby, I'll show you how." He's 15. I said, "I will show
Mm,
you exactly how to do what I do so that you don't go through what I do."
yeah. So where do you see your business taking you? What are you focusing on? Are you looking at affiliate marketing? Are you looking at getting into coaching and or creating your own courses? I mean, tell us a little bit about where you're kind of going with all of this.
I'm branching off into coaching and branching off into website agency.
Hmm.
Um, having created funnels, I found that I really enjoy doing that, and I enjoy creating the websites. And that has proven to be pretty lucrative for me.
Nice. So you've taken the skills, the raw mechanical marketing skills that you've learned in our training and kind of in
Yes,
doing, and now you're applying that in more of a service based business of
yes,
going, and you seem to have the well, there's an element of bravery of going out and getting clients and sort of pitching them on your services. There's and I say bravery because that could be scary for a lot of people, but you
it
seem to
is.
have that in your personality, and that makes a lot of sense being a veteran, right?
Well,
Uh,
in my family, my entire family is military. Mom, dad, uncles, aunts, cousins, brothers, and sisters. We're all military. And we've always been brought up with this service of others. It's something that it's never going to leave me. It's a legacy that I'm going to leave to my children, to always go out and seek to help other people, because not only do you help other people, but you help yourself too when you're doing God's work in in serving others. I mean, that's always been the message: service to others.
yeah,
And I do truly get a kick out of helping people. And when I get feedback, say, "Hey, look, I got my first sale," or "Hey, look, I did this and I achieved this," makes me feel really freaking good.
yeah. Well, that's great. I I I also can tell you that in my personal life and business life, the less I focus on me and the more I focus on others, I my life, the quality of my life gets better when I
It
make it
is
all
more
about.
rewarding.
Yeah, when I make it all about me, what am I making? What am I getting out of this? What when it's me, 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 I'm inside of my head. I'm. It's just it's a bad place to be, and I. It's a lonely place to be, also, right? It's a lonely place to be.
Right.
So whether it's service to my family, whether it's service to, obviously this work gives me a lot of fulfillment of being of service to a large community. Plus, we've got nearly 80 people or over 80 people in our company that work within our company that I get to be of service to every day. And that mindset, yes, I did say, even though I'm the quote CEO, I'm in service to all these people. They're not in service to me. I'm in service to them. All of our customers, people tend to put me on a pedestal as if, I'm some guru that's going to deliver some stone tablets or something and give them the answers. No, it's like I'm in service to you from a standpoint of standing next to you in the trenches and trying to help, trying to find answers. But it's not a I'm better than. It's not a anybody owes me. It's a I'm in service to, and I think that's another mindset shift that a lot of people, they want to become successful. They want to be a business owner, a CEO, because maybe they want to earn power, respect, be in charge, be their own
Right.
boss. But I found the opposite. The more power or authority I get, the more I try to lean into humility and being of service to other people. And that is the way in which I find to balance, happiness with all of this, versus
Part of
trying.
that comes with leading by example.
Sure.
You want to show people how you did what you did, but at the same time, you want to show them how to be humble about it.
Yeah.
Um, and what you said about being in service to those 80 people that you got working under you,
Yeah.
uh, your company's only going to be as good as your example and as good as the leadership that they have. So if you
Exactly.
don't show that leadership, if you don't show that you're willing to do what they did, right, what they do on a daily basis,
Exactly.
you're not going to succeed.
I totally agree with that. And I think a lot of people come into this business, and I made the joke about the outsourcing thing earlier with my wife.
Hmm.
But a lot of people want to come into this business and they just want to outsource everything. They want to just get in and like do not. Well, how can I pay for somebody to do that? And how can I have some? And I think the most important thing for us all to do, especially when we're new in this business, is to get as much dirt under your fingernails, doing as many things as you can. Because then when you do outsource it, you know how to manage it and you know how to actually, what you want because you've done it
Yes.
before.
Yes.
If they're doing a good job or not doing a good job. If they're, bullshitting you or whatever, because you've actually done it. And I think that the first year in our business, when we start, the most important thing I can do is lower my expectations about how much money I'm going to make, and instead try to raise my expectations of how much can I do and learn by doing. So eventually I'm building the foundation to be a good CEO, to be a good leader and manager of people, because I have done what they've done. It's kind of like
Right.
the CEO who worked his way up from janitor to the CEO. My wife worked for a company, a nonprofit company, for many years before even when I met her, she was working for this company. And she loved the CEO there because he was a guy that started as a dadgum janitor at that company and worked his way up to the CEO of that company. And you just can't help but to respect that. You know what I mean?
I do. I do. It brings a sense of authenticity,
Yeah.
to the whole idea of what they're trying, the message that they want to convey. the look that they want to convey, the services that they want to provide. It just brings a sense of authenticity because you've already been through all of these different channels, right? And now you're the guy at the top, and you're able to kind of shine a light on everybody else.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of value in experience.
Yeah. Without a doubt, it's your most valuable thing. And I would challenge all of you based on your comment. Let me piggyback on that and say, each one of you who are watching and listening to this, that the experience that you may be trying to avoid right now because it's uncomfortable or because you're at the beginning and you're not the hot shot yet is exactly what you need to get under your belt in order to be the hot shot that you want to be or be the successful person that you strive to be down the road. There is an element of paying dues. And that doesn't mean that you need to, it's not I mean, quite frankly, the dues that you pay in the military I'm assuming, are significantly longer and harder and more, I mean, to rank up, if you will.
In the long run, it is, yes.
Oh my gosh. I mean, compared to building a business, we're simply suggesting that you take the first year and learn the ins and outs of your business and lower the expectations that you're going to be a millionaire in the first year and just get some dirt under your fingernails. We look at some of the other things that's compared to in life, ranking up in the military, getting a college degree, 4, 6, 8 years, moving up the corporate ladder in corporate America. The trade-off for entrepreneurship is significantly smaller. What we're suggesting that you do, what you need to do to be successful, literally just be willing to be a ditch digger for the first year, to get dirt under your fingernails. But so many people would rather spend years or decades trying to figure out how to get rich quick and not do the work when they could just spend a year getting dirt under their fingernails. Why do you think that is? You understand what I'm saying? I mean, it's mind-boggling to me, but why do you think so many people are unwilling to get the dirt under their fingernails and lower their expectations in the journey of entrepreneurship, yet everything else in life is like 10 times harder and takes 10 times more time?
Instant gratification.
Yeah.
Everybody wants instant gratification, and I see that in everything. People want an answer right away. People want money right away. And I see this in my own children. They want it when they say, "Hey, mom, I want X, Y, and Z." They expect to get it in the next couple of days. I'm like, nah, y'all gonna have to work for that. Right. And it's the same concept. You can't expect to have instant gratification just because you just learned something in 15 days and you bought the blueprints, and then all of a sudden, I'm gonna be a millionaire next month. That's not gonna happen. Right. So the way I did it is I got into my mind, this first year, I'm going to take a loss. And I know I'm going to take a loss because I'm going to be investing in myself, right? Financially, I'm going to take a loss. But later on in life, I'm going to reap the rewards if I just stick with it and keep on learning on it and putting into practice the things that I learned. My advice to people is when you are going through this training, as you go through the training, put it into practice. Don't wait to learn everything and then say, okay, I'm going to put it in practice. No.
Yeah.
As you're going through it, put everything into practice because you are practicing something that is freshly in your mind. And if you don't get it right, you don't have to move forward. Stay there, work on it a little bit more.
You and I are just riffing here. I mean, I literally have never talked to you, never met you, logged on 30 seconds before we went live with a mouthful of food. And we just went live here. I mean, I just appreciate this. I love this. I love this format. I love that there's people somehow, myself, I feel unbelievably blessed to have be involved in a business that attracts people like yourself. And I also hope to be setting an example, if anything, for those of you out there, and also maybe something to compare to. I just find it fascinating. I'm sitting here talking to a customer who spent a couple of $1,000 on one of our trainings here. I had no idea what you were going to say. Didn't ask you to say any of what you've said, right? And you're sitting here. We're able to have a conversation and kind of be on the same page and have a lot of the same philosophies and stuff. And you've just brought incredible experience and value to this show today and to our community. And I think it's just so cool. And I want to also thank you.
No, thank you guys for, having the information out there, for giving me the opportunity to share my experience with everybody in the community.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like lots is going on down there. I've heard some in the background. I'm sure you've got people driving by on scooters and different stuff. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, well, I was telling Matt that houses here are not outfitted like the ones back in the States where you have central AC, you have all of your appliances.
Yeah.
Here, the houses literally come gutted, and you have to put in the AC and all of your appliances. So my AC at the moment is an open door and a fan until I get it all set up.
Well, you know what? I have spent a little bit of time down in some of the islands in the, I guess you're right, you would be considered part of the Caribbean. Is that right?
Yes,
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, I've spent a little bit of time down there, and it's so fascinating. The sort of no shoes, ride around on scooters, dirt roads, beaches. Everybody, in a sense, so a lot of people have waterfront property. It's not a big deal. It's just kind of everybody's at one with the water and the sand and the dirt road. I don't know. It's a great place. I'm sure you're loving it. And
I am. I like it down here because there's a sense of community. I mean, I've moved here and I have a relationship with all of my neighbors already. Right. At first, when I started, I needed help in a lot of things, and they're like, hey, no problem, we'll help you out. And they jumped in and helped me. It's some things that I hadn't experienced before.
Yeah.
So well, I enjoy it.
If you guys are looking to move down to the Caribbean, did you say you're in the Dominican Republic?
Dominican Republic. I'm Puerto Rican, but I live in Dominican Republic.
Okay. Well, you guys reach out to Yajahira and maybe she could give you some guidance. And also, we've got your TikTok, so you folks who are listening can go and follow her and connect with her on TikTok. And you sound very helpful and just like you've got your head and your heart in the right place. And we're thrilled to have you as a client, a customer here. And if there's anything that we can do, that I can do, don't be afraid to reach out to me. You can always contact me through direct messenger, or you can shoot me an email at dave@legendarymarketer.com. Usually I only reserve that for our coaching clients here, but Yajahira, if there's anything that I can do, thanks for coming on and delivering such a powerful message today. And any final words that you would leave with any of our, anybody who's sitting here who is either incredibly confident and feels excited, or maybe, the majority of people I would say are a little shaky and kind of unsure and maybe feeling a little bit skeptical or insecure, about kind of whether they can do this or not, or, what words would you like to leave with everybody who's listening?
Remember why you started it, and don't set impossible goals. Set short-term goals, and each goal is going to lead to a bigger goal, right? So just always keep moving forward. Make sure you set realistic goals for yourself, and just remember why. Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. It's been fun. And I look forward to having an update from you here maybe in a couple of months. All right.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you for having me.
See you later. And thanks again for your service.
My pleasure. Bye-bye.
All right. All right, my friends. Yajahira's TikTok is up there if you want to go and connect with her. Really, really cool chick. And, I'm just constantly amazed by the quality of people in our community. I just feel overwhelmed and sort of grateful that not sort of grateful, extremely grateful that I have the pleasure, the opportunity to be able to connect with you guys each and every day and do this. It's sort of like a dream. And, I would say that that dream is attainable to each and every one of you. It's not just for me. I'm just a regular dude who got started online the same exact way that you guys did, and that you guys are. It's just a few years earlier. And in many ways, I'm still figuring a lot of this stuff out as I go. And that's kind of part of the fun of it. And sometimes I get it right, sometimes I get it wrong. But the thing that I get right is keep showing up each and every day, and keep trying to put people first and serve people, and over deliver and under promise, right? Or as they say, under promise and over deliver. And I'm pretty confident if we keep doing that, we'll keep attracting badass, cool people like Yajahira and like those of you who are tuning in and listening. So thank you for being a part of what we're doing. Let's rock, be legendary, get out there and do something awesome today. Get the hell out of here. We'll see you back here tomorrow.